Hi guys, and welcome to another video. So Sunderland have had their first defeat of the pre-season over in Portugal. They lost by a goal to nil to Belenenses. I can't pronounce it at all, but yeah, we did lose by a goal to nil yesterday evening. And I'll go through the performance and what have you. We'll start off with the formation and the first team lineup. We had John McLaughlin in goal. The back three we had Willis, Jordan Willis in the middle of the three. We had McLaughlin, the defender McLaughlin, on the right of that three. Flanagan on the left of that back three. We had Luke O'Nien as the right wing back. Denver Hume as the left wing back. The two central midfielders we had Dylan McGeoch and Grant Ledbetter. Now, rather than having a sort of number 10 and then two strikers, for me, it looked a bit more like a flat three up top. We had a Grigg in the centre of that three, then Watmore on the left, and Elliot Embleton on the right. So I was quite excited by that system. Now, something that sprung quite quickly is that this formation system does work well with pacey players. It just has to, because the wing backs need to bomb up and down the field to help out the defence and the attack at the same time. And Denver Hume and Duncan Watmore, for me, they caused all kinds of problems down the left-hand side for the opposition, and I think they looked really, really good. They linked up quite well. A couple of times, Watmore would break down the left-hand side. He little 1-2 with either Hume or Grigg would drop inside to get the 1-2 off. And Watmore, for me, was our biggest threat. It's just a shame he just can't finish to save his life. But at least, you know, in comparison to the last game where we weren't really creating any clear-cut chances, it was Duncan Watmore who was getting them forwards and he was making the space and he was making things happen. And those are the kind of players you need on the pitch for this system to work. I mean, Luke O'Nien down the right-hand side of the right wing-back position, he didn't have the greatest of pace, but he does like to come forward. Embleton doesn't have a huge amount of pace. It didn't really work as well on the right-hand side, but with Hume and Watmore on the left, it really did work. And I think he looked fantastic, and I think we looked a lot more dangerous going forward. Now, like I said, we did make a couple of chances. Watmore managed to, like I said, a 1-2 with Will Grigg, 1-1 with the keeper. Relatively tight angle, and he managed to hit it just wide to the bottom right-hand post. Another couple of chances, well, Watmore breaking forward. It eventually fell for Hume, and he hit it into the side netting. So it was Hume and Watmore linking up quite well down that left. But what I will say, kind of drifting off topic a little bit, is, of course, last season I was definitely quite soft, and I give the team and manager a bit of leeway because, you know, it was our first time in the division. We had a whole new squad put together, and I do believe that the team deserved a little bit of leeway. Whereas this year, and I've already said at the back end of last season, that I'm going to be more critical. It's going to happen because I don't think they have any excuses now. So for me, Will Grigg, he's looked poor throughout pre-season. Charlie White has looked poor so far. You know, I'm not having a meltdown or anything. This is me being completely honest. Will Grigg, he doesn't have any excuses now because he doesn't have this injury. Of course, it is only pre-season, I will say that. But he hasn't looked great. He's not getting in. Even if, I like to see a striker, even if he's not getting in on the ball too much, you know, Grigg's not a player who's going to come deep, collect it, and then run at players. He's not that kind of player. He's a poacher, so he does need the service. He does need the delivery, which he hasn't really been getting. But he's been anonymous throughout the pre-season games so far. Barely seen anything of him, and you know, Charlie White, he caused a little bit of a threat, and he does have his good points, Charlie White, but there's been more negatives than positives so far. So for me, I think the thing I'm worried about the most is our strike force. I don't think it's good enough. I don't think Charlie White and Will Grigg particularly works. If we are to play this formation, I do like the way we played yesterday, but I just believe that the player selection was wrong. Of course, it's only Jack Ross's only sort of experimenting a little bit, but I would have preferred a bit more pace. I would have maybe put Gooch on the right-hand side rather than Embleton, and maybe even put Watmore down the middle and then McGeady on the left. Of course, McGeady's still come back from injury, but I think all in all, that probably would have been the best formation or the best squad for that formation, because I think we quickly learned yesterday, like I say, this formation and this system, it needs pace. It lives and breathes off pace. And the two central midfielders, McGeoch and Ledbetter, far too similar. McGeoch did quite well in terms of just keeping the ball ticking and moving on. But we need, as well as, you can't have two holding midfielders in this formation. I said it in the last review. You can't have two holding midfielders. It's far too defensive. The gap between midfield and the strikers, the attackers, it's too big because you've got two defensive-minded midfielders there. You need someone who's going to bomb forward, someone with a bit of physicality and a lot of energy, and we didn't have that at all, which it left us open a little bit. So, all in all, though, first off, I thought we looked decent. Defensively, Jordan Willis, I think he looks like an absolutely cracking player, which I already said before. We already knew this. He is a very good player. And I think he looked absolutely class. And I think he's looked very, very good over the 2 games. In the first game, he played on the right of the back 3. In this one, he played in the centre of the back 3. And he was just as good. I think he was absolutely class. Flanagan out of the back 3 for me was shocking. I don't want to be too harsh because it is all the pre-season, but we have seen Flanagan last season as well. And, his decision making is just piss poor. It's so bad. A couple of late challenges which were really unnecessary. A couple of times he gave away the ball. A couple of times he misjudged bounces and stuff like that. And I think he's just a liability, the lad, unfortunately. I mean, maybe use him as a backup, but I'd rather see Baldwin there. Baldwin doesn't quite have the pace that Flanagan does. And Baldwin, he can, he's open to a mistake here and there, but his tackles are a lot better. His timing of challenges are a lot better than Flanagan. So for me, I think our best back 3, if we're going to do this and play this formation, the best back 3 will be Willis, McLaughlin and Baldwin for me. I mean, Ozturk can be the sort of big brick shithouse, but I think Baldwin just has a little bit more pace than Ozturk in the system. But McLaughlin on the right hand side of that 3, he's really impressed me over the last couple of games. I think he's been fantastic. The first game he played as a right wing back. This one he played in the right hand side of the back 3, and I think he was great. His timing of challenges is fantastic. He really gets stuck in, and defensively he seems very, very sound. So I think he's been a brilliant acquisition. But second half, I think it just took its toll on us. I think we looked a bit tired in the second half. We need to remember that it's pre-season. The heat is completely different to what it is over there to what it is to here. And also, they had a training session in the morning as well. They're training hard in the morning. They're really putting them through the pace in the morning. And then they're playing a 90-minute match, which they wouldn't normally do. So there are things that I do need to take into consideration, and I get that. But in the second half, I feel like we dropped off a bit. As soon as Watmore come off, I feel like it changed the game. But we did make a couple of little chances. Ball was dragged back to Embleton first time. It was very, very good save by the keeper, I have to say that. The opposition, they did have a chance of their own where they hit the bar with a free kick. But eventually they did break the deadlock. It was a misjudged sort of interception by Denver Hume, which saw their striker go through one-on-one with McLaughlin. He's put it past him quite easily. 1-0 to them. We did make a couple of little half chances here and there, but other than that, it wasn't fantastic by any stretch. And like I say, my biggest concern now is the attacking third. I think we need another central midfielder. Either Power, Ledbetter or McGeoch, one of them. If we are doing this out and in system in terms of transfers, one of them has to go. One of them definitely has to go for me, because they're all far too similar. If we are going to stick to this formation, it's pointless. There's no point in having 2 holding midfielders in front of a back 3. Absolutely pointless. You need at least one of them to be able to break forward and take the game by the scruff of the neck down the middle of the park, because it's not happening. They're just far too soft in there, and not good enough for this system. Both of them, the good players within their own right, but for this system and this formation, it just doesn't work, unfortunately. I would like to see a sort of a George Dobson come in, who we have been linked with. I think he'd be very good alongside a McGeoch or a Ledbetter. I think that'd be very good, because he really is a box-to-box midfielder with plenty of energy. I think we need another winger with a better pace, and we're definitely screaming out for a striker, absolutely screaming out for a striker, because Wyke and Grigg, on paper it sounds good, Wyke a bit of a brute, Grigg is a poacher. It sounds like the kind of big and small striking partnership that everyone cries out for, but it just doesn't work. They don't work well together. We need someone, I think, with better pace and strength to get in behind and can finish. You know what I mean? We need a pacey striker is what we need, and we don't have that right now. We do have Kim Pioka, who he definitely brings something to the table when he does come on. He's very energetic, like I say. I think it is just a case of finding our strongest squad at the minute, our strongest 11, because I think in this formation that we do have almost the right tools there. It just needs tweaking. We do have that bit of quality with Maguire and McGeady to use as well. Look, we have Kimpioka, like I say. So I think it's just playing around with it, which pre-season is. It's just experimental. It's just playing around with it, tweaking it until we finally get it. But he did finish 1-0. We lost 1-0. And I've seen people on Twitter having an absolute meltdown over it, which I think is very unwarranted. Am I concerned? Yes, I'm concerned with the fact that the final third looks very poor. But I think if we look at the positives as well, I think defensively we look really good. I think Willis looks absolutely excellent. We need to look at positives as well as negatives. If push comes to shove, if we needed to, you know, cut our losses, bite the bullet, and either let Wyke or Grig go, then go for it. Because I think, all in all, I think they don't work. They don't score enough goals. But obviously, I'm going to give them a chance. Of course, I'm going to give them a chance. It is on the pre-season. I'm not losing my head right now. But I don't want us to go into the season with a squad that just isn't ready, if you know what I mean. We definitely need another 2 or 3 signings either way. But that'll be it, guys. So, of course, you know, there are positives, but there is also a cause for concern. But that is the video, guys. If you have enjoyed, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sarny Army. And do not forget to hit the notification bell to keep up to date with every upcoming video. But for now, you take care and stay jammy.